Hi all. What is a strategy to clear prelims? This is the most common question among all the aspirants throughout India with respect to UPSC preparation. So if you could see, there are many aspirants who consistently clear prelims, and there are also aspirants who are getting the forest service cutoff. So what is the strategy they are following? The main strategy which was common among all the aspirants who are clearing prelims consistently was that they are having strong foundation with respect to the 5 core subjects. So what are all the 5 core subjects in this preparation? The subjects are polity, economy, history, geography and environment. So most of the people who are clearing prelims are strong in these 5 subjects, or at least 4 among the 5 subjects. So what is the meaning of becoming strong in the subjects? To become strong in the subject, you should understand the fundamentals, you should understand the concepts, there must be conceptual clarity, and you should be able to apply the concepts in the questions. Only with these 4 things, you will be able to be a strong person in a particular subject. So if you could take economy, the subject which I am going to handle, there are almost 15 to 20 questions each year in the UPSC prelims. Of these 50 questions, if you could see, 10 questions are generally asked from the basic concepts and fundamentals. So, if you could see, most of the questions of these 10, it will be directly from the topic, that is what is what. So, what is Basel norms? Basel norms are related to banking. So, these kind of more fundamental questions will be asked, and there are certain questions which will be asked by changing the jargons. Like for example, they will be changing the word of creditor. Instead of using the word creditor, they will be using the word bond holders. Instead of using the word debtor, they will be using the word bond issuers. So by tweaking the jargons, UPSC will ask the same fundamental concepts. So if people are having fundamental conceptual clarity in the Indian economy with the understanding and ability to apply that in questions, easily we can score these 10 questions which is coming from the fundamentals of economics. So with these 10 questions, we can get 20 marks in preliminary. So how to get the 20 marks in preliminary? For that only I am going to handle an economic module in kingMakers IAS Academy, Delhi. I am Adil Beg. I teach Indian economy for the last 6 years in kingMakers IAS Academy, and we have now launched a new economic module in our Delhi branch. So let us understand this basic fundamental concept with respect to GDP and GVA. So Government of India is calculating the national income, that is GDP, by using 2 methods. They are using product method and they are calculating GDP at market prices. When they are using value added method, they are calculating GVA at basic prices. So GDP data is released in 2 forms, that is GDP at market prices and GVA at basic prices. But most of the aspirants, they lack the understanding and the difference with respect to the how GDP is calculated and GVA is calculated. So I'll just explain this entire concepts by taking a simple supply chain of a tea plantation, from how a tea which we are drinking from a restaurant is coming from a tea plantation. So let us go to a tea plantation. Let us assume that this tea plantation is producing a tea of value 100 rupees. So this tea plantation is producing tea leaves of value 100 rupees. These tea leaves are going to a tea manufacturing company. So in this tea manufacturing companies, they are converting this tea leaves into tea powder. So the value of this tea powder is, so they are doing a 50 rupees value addition, they are making 150 rupees worth of tea powder. So they are taking tea leaves of 100 rupees and they are converting that into tea powder worth of 150 rupees by doing 50 rupees value addition. From this tea manufacturing company, the tea leaves are going to a retailer who is selling them through the shop. So we go and buy tea in the shop, so that we can take any retailer or any kirana stores which is there in our streets. So from this retailer, what this retailer is doing, that retailer is buying 150 rupees worth of tea and doing a value addition in the form of packaging or something, and he is selling the tea for 200 rupees. So let us assume 1 kg tea is 100 rupees and 2 kg tea is 200 rupees. So this retailer is buying the tea powder of 150 rupees, doing a 50 rupees value addition and selling it for 200 rupees. This 200 rupees tea is bought by 2 persons. A restaurant is buying 100 rupees worth of tea, and me myself, I am going to tea shop, that is Adil. So I am going to the retailer and I am buying 100 rupees worth of tea. So this is a simple retail chain. That is, the tea plantation is producing tea leaves worth of 100 rupees. This 100 rupees worth of tea leaves is being converted into 150 rupees by a simple value addition by a manufacturing company. And this 150 rupees worth of tea powder is being converted into saleable product by doing a value addition of 50 rupees by the retailer for 200 rupees. So this 200 rupees worth of tea is being sold to restaurant and me. So restaurant is buying 100 rupees worth of tea and I am buying another 100 rupees worth of tea. So this is a simple example of a value chain. So if you let us take GDP. So what is GDP? So GDP is the total value of all final goods and services produced in an economy. So in GDP calculation, what we do is we take the total value of final goods and services produced in an economy and we take the total value and that in a particular year, and then that is the GDP. So what is a final good? Final good is those good which is finally consumed by the end consumer. So if you take this supply chain, what will be the final good? The final good is the 100 rupees worth of tea which is bought by the restaurant is in turn converted into 150 rupees worth of drinkable tea. So restaurant is buying tea powder for what? They are not going to use the tea powder. They will be converting that into 150 rupees worth of drinkable tea. That is hot tea which is served in the restaurant. Let us take one tea costs 50 rupees and they are selling 10 teas. So that's 150 rupees. So what is the final good in this supply chain? The 150 rupees worth of tea sold by the restaurant is a final good, and 100 rupees worth of tea which I am buying. See, I am buying tea powder, I am going to my home and I am making tea and I am drinking. So this 100 rupees worth of tea which I am buying is a final good. So if you take GDP method, we are just taking the final goods and services and we are adding the value. So we are getting GDP, that is 150 rupees worth of tea by the restaurant and 100 rupees worth of tea which I bought. So total value of GDP of this particular supply chain is 250. So that is the GDP value. So in GDP, we are just adding the total value of final goods and services. Now let us understand what is gross value added method. One main problem with respect to GDP method is you get the total value of GDP as 250, but you don't know what is the individual contributions of each sector. We can't say with this value what is the contribution of agriculture, what is the contribution of industry, what is the contribution of services, because we are just taking the final goods, one which is sold in the restaurant and another which is sold by the retailer, and we are just adding it. We cannot say the individual sectoral contribution. In order to know the individual sectoral contribution, we are using the GVA method. In GVA method, instead of adding the value of final goods, we are just adding the value addition in the each stages of this supply chain. So we are starting with the first stage. In the first stage, what is the value of good? The value of good is 100 rupees worth tea leaves. So 100 rupees worth tea leaf is the first value in our supply chain. So what is the value addition? So instead of taking the entire 150, we are just taking the value addition done by the manufacturer. So in the second level, manufacturer is doing 50 rupees worth of value addition. So what is the value addition which is being done by the retailer? So retailer is doing another value addition of 50 rupees. So 150 rupees worth of tea powder is being converted into 200 rupees worth of tea by the retailer. So what is the value addition done by the restaurant person? The restaurant person is buying 100 rupees worth of tea and doing a value addition of 50 rupees. So that is 50 rupees is another value addition done by the restaurants. So in gross value added method, if you could add 100 rupees worth of tea leaves, 50 rupees by the value addition by manufacturer, 50 rupees value addition by the retailer, 50 rupees value addition by the restaurant. So if you add, you are also getting the same 250 rupees value. So in both the methods, the value turns out to be 250. See, it is 250 because I designed this example. So I designed in such a way that it's equal in both the methods. In reality, it's not going to be the same. But the thing which I'm going to say is, so in this GVA method, if you are calculating GDP like this, you can say the contributions of individual sectors. So what is the contribution of agriculture? 100 rupees is the contribution of agriculture. What is the contribution of manufacturing? 50 rupees is the contribution of manufacturing. What is the contribution of services? So here retailer is a service and restaurant is also a service. So retailer does 50 rupees worth of value addition and restaurant is doing another 50 rupees worth of value addition. So automatically the contribution of services is another 100. So through this you can say the individual contribution of each sector. So the total value of our GDP is 250. Our economy's GDP is 250. Out of this, agriculture share is 40%, industry share is 10% and 20% and services share is 40%. With this we can say the individual contributions. So this is gross value added method. So this is the basic difference between the GDP method and GVA method. So why we are using GVA method? In order to understand the contributions of each sector. So like this we are taking a simplistic example and we are understanding such concepts like GDP and GVA. So this is what you will be getting in the module which you are going to conduct in Delhi. So like how we understood this concept of GDP and GVA in simple terms, in our module we will be understanding the entire economic concepts with the conceptual clarity and understanding, and most importantly the ability to use the concepts and apply it in the preliminary question and to get the right answer. So join the module which is being launched on December 4 in Delhi and get the conceptual clarity in economy. So I am Adil Beg, Indian Economy faculty, who is teaching Indian Economy for the last 6 years in the kingMakers IAS Academy. So see you all in Delhi. Thank you.